seems like Beto O'Rourke has an announcement. Beto O'Rourke has announced.
Not yet. He got an
Beto
announcement
O'Rourke has announced that he has an announcement that he and his wife and his kids have come to a conclusion of his future and will announce it soon. So they're about as subtle as me at a bar trying to,
That's all. You just had a bar.
Be smooth. Beto O'Rourke's running for president, apparently, because he ain't announcing he's not. A new poll came out today of Democrats versus Trump in Texas. Beto O'Rourke was losing 47% to 46%, but he was the closest. Joe Biden was, I believe, 47% down. Biden was also 47%. 46%, and I believe Bernie was 47%, 45%. So right there, you got Beto O'Rourke leading the field, but still losing in his home state to Trump. I think Beto O'Rourke, frankly, is kind of a third-way Democrat. I think Beto O'Rourke is your cardboard cutout, Center for American Progress, fake progressive. I've already done several videos on Beto O'Rourke, but frankly, I mean, he's voted for offshore drilling. He voted to lift the cap on exporting oil, which there was a cap on that for many decades in America. He voted for deregulating Wall Street, and he was also part of the New Democrat Coalition, which is a centrist, frankly, slightly right-wing group in Congress. And he voted in Congress, I believe, 30% of the time with President Trump. So I don't think this is going to get you to the promised land, folks. And I want to point out, I'm not from Texas, but I did say if I did live in Texas, I would have voted for him over Ted Cruz, but I would have voted for Lucifer over Ted Cruz. That's not really like a huge.
Not Lucifer. Ted Cruz is Lucifer.
All right, I would have voted for I don't know. I would have voted for someone that I don't like over Ted Cruz. Let's put it that way. However, that's not exactly like a ringing endorsement bumper sticker. Like, frankly, he came closer than most Democrats come in Texas. So credit to him. He ran a good campaign. I think he lost by 2.5 or close to 3 percentage points in Texas, but he lost. So why would we think if you lose to Ted Cruz in Texas that you're going to beat Donald Trump in America?
It can happen.
But why?
Because
what has he accomplished?
Obviously, that matters a lot. He took the margin down like 9 points, which they would say mobilized the Democratic wave, so to speak, that happened during the midterms. So, I mean, there's a good arguing point. If you're talking about Texas versus America, now we can have the same argument. Now, no, remember we had the argument earlier about when we were talking about Tulsi, we were talking about a district versus America. Now we're talking about America falling in love with this guy that may be the majority of Texas, but not enough of Texas did.
Right.
That's a completely different thing. That's a good argument.
Well, here's what I'm saying. What is it about Beto O'Rourke that makes the people in Ohio just excited? Or Wisconsin, or Michigan, or Pennsylvania?
You gotta see. It's probably something.
No, I think people were very excited because he was running against Ted Cruz. I mean, people hate Ted Cruz countrywide.
Yeah,
and most of his donations were from outside Texas, which ain't a bad thing. I mean, money's money wherever you can get it from. And he got a lot of small dollar donations. But that's because Ted Cruz is just reviled, hated, worm of a person. So, I'm not saying Beto shouldn't run if he wants to run. Free to, if you want to run, he's qualified. He was a congressman. That's fine. But I don't particularly know what he adds to the field. I honestly think, and call it what you want, I think he's got a lot of Obama in him, just white. I really do. I think Beto comes off, he talks in very vague, he talks in very, very uplifting vagueness.
I don't know how y'all see it. Completely different. Different disposition.
He talks in very vague, I'm going to lift the seas, part the oceans, all that. There's no there. And by the way, he wasn't for Medicare for All during his Senate campaign. I don't think he's for Medicare for All now. He's not for free public college, as far as I know. He's not for ending private prisons. He has not signed on to the Green New Deal. Not only has he not signed on to the Green New Deal, he broke the no fossil fuel pledge. So, and frankly, from people I spoke with in Texas, not exactly a warm guy privately, behind the scenes. He was publicly, because Bernie Sanders is what you got. Bernie Sanders is like what you see on camera is what you see off. He's a grumpy guy, but he's also a nice guy and generous, and he cares about the young people and the old people.
Just
or whatever.
I would argue Tulsi as well.
Yes.
I don't know. Tulsi's so like mild-mannered. It seemed like she would just go in on.
Do you
people.
know what I told Tulsi Gabbard after?
What?
I'm not going to get into detail because, like, you know, it wasn't on the record. But what I told her after, take off the gloves a little bit. Don't let these view people.
I think she takes them off just in a different type of way.
Yeah, but you know, she needs to. If you're going on with Meghan McCain, I understand she's from Hawaii and aloha and all these things, but like, you know, don't let them walk all over you. People want to see a fighter. That's what I'm saying. You could be nice, but also be like, I would have said, sitting there with Meghan McCain, I'm sorry for your loss, but you know, your father stood on stage with neo-Nazis in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about an apologist?
Said that.
I would have.
Oh yeah, if you called me an apologist and tried to play me like that, I would have just took.
I mean, John McCain, along with Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, literally stood on stage in Ukraine with neo-Nazis from the opposition party, which, you know, the Democratic Party loves these people. I don't know why. So, yeah, apologist, no. By the way, Donald Rumsfeld, I mean, I went through this with Congresswoman Gabbard in our interview. Donald Rumsfeld went and shook hands with Saddam Hussein. Reagan had the India tyrant in the White House. There's a huge, huge tradition of just cuddling up with brutal dictators. But when it's Congresswoman Gabbard doing it, apologist, let's Jill Steiner. You know, Beto O'Rourke, what's the difference between Beto O'Rourke and Cory Booker, or Kirsten Gillibrand, or Kamala Harris, or Julian Castro? They're all the same. One, you know, some are a little bit more charismatic, but they're all kind of this like, yeah, in theory, I'm for Medicare for all, but like when challenged about it, well, we're open to other things. Or they don't say Medicare for all, they say, I believe everybody should have access to health care. No. I have access to a lot of things. It doesn't mean I can pay for it.
Talk that.
They're all very, 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 very similar.
It.
They're very, very similar, and they'd be great at, you know, a birthday party. I don't really see a lane for Beto O'Rourke. I think he was very charismatic, standing on top of cars in Texas because he was running against one of the most vile, not just politicians, but just human beings in this country. But I just don't see how him as a centrist or Republican light congressman for several years translates nationally. I don't.
You know why?
I don't see his big vision.
You know why? Because they're, for some reason, are just trying to like nullify like they did in 2016.
It wasn't hard for me during the Senate campaign to dig up who Beto was taking money from. If you were following status quo at the time, I found that he was doing fundraisers with fossil fuel lobbyists while saying I'm signing the no fossil fuel pledge. So it's not hard to find that these people's actions, the people they take money from, the fundraisers they do, don't match the words. And that's a problem. Because in this day and age, the mood of the Democratic Party is moving very, very, very far to the left, and that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statusquo.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statusquo.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.